come forward. Carlos Valdanes. Navia Ellis, please come forward. Navia Ellis, please come forward. Orlando Cortez, please come forward. Alejandro Carrillo, please come forward. Clayton McGlee, please come forward. Sean McIntosh, please come forward. Levy Gutierrez, please come forward. Abel Perez, please come forward. Larson Thompson, please come forward. Jacob Martinez, please come forward. Jennifer Medina, please come forward. Noela Calleas, please come forward.
It's your picture.
Antonio Rufino, please come forward. Alvaro Gonzalez, please come forward. Dominic Huevas, please come forward. Jordan Davila, please come forward. Saline Freres, please come forward. Cheese Masila, please come forward. And Daniela Maracuiz, please come forward.
We're gonna have to squeeze in. Heather?
State silver medalist. State silver medalist. Paul Olivo, please come forward. Moving on, state color guard. Daniel Mariquez, please come forward. Nevia Longoria, please come forward. Samia Bonnet, please come forward. Jasmine Gutierrez, please come forward. Dominic Guevena, please come forward. Jacob Martinez, please come forward. And Larson Thompson, please come forward. Last but not the least, for choir state solo ensemble, Reagan Dutcher, please come forward. Well, thank you all so much, students. I understand you have a big banquet to go to from now. Parents, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for your support. You all can have a nice evening.
Congratulations, guys. Good job. Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much. We're recording that. That's what I tell y'all, but y'all don't ever. Y'all didn't tell me you were doing that.
Hey, son.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? Okay.
Hey, Yeah.
Oh, we all want to call.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 6 p.m., Thursday, May the 15th, 2025. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order and ask that everybody please stand for the prayer and the pledges.
Father, we bow before you and thank you for this pleasant evening in Horton County, Texas, Horton Independent School District. We recognize just prior to the beginning of this meeting, a number of our students have been recognized, and we're thankful for them, their parents, and their efforts in the Horton Independent School District. We pray for all of our students at this time as this school year is closing out, and we're praying that they'll be safe in their efforts, whatever they do during the summer. And we ask for their protections along, not only for our students, but for our dedicated teachers and for our administrators. And Father, we thank you for the time that we've had at this particular period of school, that we've shown, as we recognized earlier tonight, our students are excelling in many areas. We're thankful for the blessed privilege to approach your throne of grace, and we ask you to continue to be with us, not only tonight, but throughout our summer series. In the name of our Lord and our Savior, Jesus, amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
honor
the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the
Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
At this time, on the agenda, we have, I'm so sorry, social contract.
Okay, social contract includes maintain professionalism, honor the golden rule and one another, give adequate time for early special members of the and modern, come prepared and focus on the agenda and be respectful and different.
Other commendations and board recognition, superintendent.
Yes, please. President Robertson will have a special commendation this evening. And trustee Evans, please can you step forward? 10 years on the board is not a joke.
Oh.
So on behalf of the board, faculty, staff, and students of botany, your plaque was delayed. Your 10-year plaque is on the way. But we made this up for you quickly. Thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate it.
Minutes of the special board meeting of May 1st, 2025. Minutes of the special board meeting on May 8th, 2025. Is there a motion for approval of those items? I second. Ms. Ward makes it, and Mr. Henderson seconds it. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item number 6, the Lone Star Government.
It is always a pleasure to be back here and work with you this evening. Just very quickly, Mr. Aguilar has asked me to give you a brief overview If you will take a look in your folders, you're gonna see your time tracker for last month. Board members, I'm so proud of you because you are running some very efficient meetings. I mean, more and more, you're getting more and more efficient with your time use. So you will see, last month, you spent about 33% of your time spent on student outcomes. Your total meeting time was 45 minutes. You had several meetings that were under an hour. So you're really running efficiently. You had 5 consent items and none of those were removed. You did not discuss any goals or GPMs last month, but if you will remember, you had a report on the high quality instruction that was provided for you. So that's why you didn't have any goals discussed last month. Do you have any questions about that? Okay, and next in your folder, you're going to see your May board meeting presentation. And, this month, we're looking at college and career military readiness. And I'll just briefly highlight your data because I am so proud of Gordon ISD. Take a look at this data for gold prize considered 3-1. Your percentage of sophomores earning CCMR credit, we wanted it to increase from 5% to 13% in August 2025. You are at 26%, which actually, if you look at your 5-year targets, you have surpassed your 2029 target. So congratulations. And if you look at Gold Progress 3-2, you were looking at your juniors earning the CCR credit. You wanted to increase that from 16% to 23%. You are at 49%. Again, you have surpassed your 2029 target. Correct? That's so much good news. That's great, that's great. And what that means then, as those students move up, we've already got that point, so they're gonna be really set for their senior year. So take a look at 3.3, this is measuring your seniors. You wanted to move from 45 to 56%. You did meet that goal, you're at 57%. We didn't go quite as far as we had hoped to, as we did in the other 2 goals, but still you met this year's target, okay? So that's wonderful. Now, I do want to remind you that to get an A in the accountability system, you need to be at 88% here. So we still have some work to do, but looking at 3.1 and 3.2, you are so far ahead of the game with your sophomores and juniors. I really believe that next year you'll be able to maybe get very close to that 88% next year. So great job, Gordon, great job. And you'll also see the high school put their action plan in there. Do you have any questions about CCMR? Great job, great job. The other report that you'll see there is your superintendent constraints. And I don't know, Mr. Ogiwali, did you want to say anything about the superintendent constraints? The first one is out of class discipline.
It's a teamwork. We are just trying our best to make sure students are in classes.
Yes, and you're exceeding that goal. If you look at that, your goal was to reduce that to 80 per month. And in May, you were at 68 classroom removal. So very good. We exceeded that goal. That's a good thing to be lower in classroom removals. In constraint 4, you had hoped to, you wanted that a teacher attendance rate not to drop below 93%. You're right at 93%. You wanted to get to 96%. We didn't quite get there this year, but you did not fall below the 93% threshold. So very good. And then if you flip that page over, you'll see, every year, a couple of times a year, we do that survey for professional faculty that they agree the focus of the district is on students rather than adults. You wanted that to be at 90%. Your baseline was 70. We're at 77% right now. Okay. So we still need to work on that a little bit. Also, I believe the district has provided a handout for you on early college high school just for your review. If you have any questions about that. Do you have any other questions about that report this evening?
That was too good to be for me, man.
That's right. Good news, right? We love good news. Absolutely. So next month, you will be getting a lot of data. We do have a heavy data next month because it's end of year. You'll be looking at your early reading data for, goals 1, early math data for goals 2, and then junior high and high school data for goals 4 and 5 next month, okay? The other thing that Mr. Okiwali asked me to, discuss with you this evening is that you have now been in LSG for 3 years, and you have been in the exemplar cohort program with TEA for 2 years. You are about to finish your 2nd year, so congratulations. Congratulations. That shows a huge commitment. I remember I came and Curtis and Mr. Spears, I think, were the only ones on the original board we trained, and then we picked up some more board members, and now some more new board members. Actually, Philip, you were on the original board also, and now you come back, haven't you? So welcome back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out. But you have the option at this point, we will follow you through July, through the end of the cohort. If you would like to transition out of LSG, that is certainly your option to do that. Region 3 wants to best serve you, okay? So we can try to train your staff and your board members on some of these practices because we're seeing great success. Your board meetings are running a lot smoother, a lot faster, and you're focusing on student outcomes. That's the big thing. We want to focus on student outcomes, and you're seeing improvement in student outcomes because you're focusing on that, and it's trickling down to your campuses. So if you want to, we have several districts who stay in for 4 or 5 years. That's certainly an option, and we can still provide support to your staff and your new staff coming on board next year, and your new board members who have come on. However, if you want to transition out, we can provide the tools that I use to help you and coach you. I can provide them to like your board secretary or whoever you choose, your curriculum department, and they can carry those things forward. We encourage you to continue to carry them on so that you can continue to run and focus on student outcomes. But I would ask that as a board, you have that discussion amongst yourselves as a team of 8. And let Mr. Ojewala know how you want to proceed for next year. As I said, I'll follow you through July. But the new cohort starts in August. And certainly if you want to continue, then I want to come out and meet with your team this summer. We look at your STAR scores and we kind of set up for next year. We look at, for example, your CCMR goals. You've already reached the 5-year goal, so we got to set some new goals there. So that would be part of the process. So within the next week or so, if you consider that, talk as a team of 8, what you'd like, how you'd like to proceed, and let Mr. Ojewala know. And then he'll let me know, and we'll proceed from there if we're going to transition you out or if we're going to continue supporting you, whatever you feel like you're ready for. If you do decide to continue, I would encourage your new board member to come to our 2-day training. We're going to have one in June. Tony and I'll be doing that. And Philip, you're already trained, so you wouldn't have to attend that necessarily. You were in our original cohort, which is hard to believe 3 years ago. Yes.
Lisa, fortunately, you, trained, I believe, Marie and Lisa and me last
Yes.
May.
Yes, it was.
And, since we had that training, and I feel like we learned a lot from it,
Yes.
try to implement it. I feel like at this point, obviously I want new board members to get the training because we've gained a lot. But I feel like at this point, at least as presiding officer, I can take the training wheels off now. And be able to ride following the things that you taught us. So anyway, I wanted to let y'all know my feelings about it. I want to know what your feelings are, more especially to let Mr. Ojewala know. And we can proceed from there.
Certainly. We'll be happy. Region 3 is happy to support you in any capacity.
One of the things that I would like to mention, and you probably are familiar with it, we wanted to have a team building where the entire board was here. If
Yes.
you remember, we had a board member missing the night that was supposed to be done.
Yes.
So when your schedule allows and Mr. Olalai can schedule you,
Yes.
I think the board would be very appreciative to
Sure.
get those hours out of one.
Absolutely. I can get with Mr. Ojwali and I can also give him several different topics. Or he can let me know what topic you'd like for us to cover and we'd be happy to schedule that with you sometime this summer or early August, whatever works for you. Do y'all have any questions? Okay, thank you so much and that will be an action item.
Thank you so much
Sure.
for coming down as many times as you did. And please give Tony our regards, please.
I'm sure will, you know, he's retiring. He's retiring for real retiring this time. That will be official at the end of June, the last day of June. And he is moving to, Lake Conroe. Yes, so, thank you. And Mr. Archibald, I'll follow up with you next
I'll
week.
send you another.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Under action items, items 8A.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that.
Oh, yeah. Oh. All right, is there a motion to accept the report that was submitted? All right, Ms. Paris makes the motion and is seconded by Ms. Ward, I believe. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Under action items, item 8A is consideration and possible action to approve partnership agreement with communities and schools of Brazoria County for the 2025-2026 school year. Superintendent.
President and representative of communities in schools, please can you step forward? Thank you so much for coming. Sorry for coming.
We had a really successful year with community control. We provided a public that has the current and the last year's outcome for our services that will be implemented in 100 And you can see, last year we had case managed 311 students. This year we're already surpassing that. We're at 326 students. And all students that have been case managed have been serviced over 6,000 hours of service time to students. That's a lot of time that has been committed to your students and families. Overall, out of all the case managed students last year for 2024, we had 100% stay in school. We had 100% that was eligible to graduated, 94% improved behavior, 93% improved in academics, 100% promoted to the next grade level, and 87% improved in attendance. So, we just have to say that the program really worked, by partnering with the faculty and the staff. We love being able to service our children and our families in this area and really kind of focus on the community.
Focus, how can one argue with results? I want to remind the board, we called, we contacted you last year and you came running. And we're very grateful for the fact that you're here. And I personally would like to make the motion to renew the contract. Motion's been made and seconded. Are there any questions? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, board.
I just results like that next year. All right, item D, consideration of possible approval of the 2025-2026 Wharton County Juvenile Probation Department Juvenile Justice Alternative Education Program Memorandum of Understanding.
Ms. Julia, Ms. Chief, please.
So I'm going to give some care of group and, JPO, Juvenile Probation Officer, and I'm also the case worker on JPO. Is anyone familiar with JJAP? I can kind of break it down to y'all, that'll kind of help you out. So pretty much our JJAP is a school and we provide education to students who are expelled. So we classify those into two different categories. Pretty much, the first category is discretionary. Usually that's for serious misbehavior. And then you have, it's the other category we have, but it's usually for, mandatory expulsion. So those are for, crimes, offenses, usually firearm. Students who get in serious trouble, arrested, things like that. We place them over at our school, provide them education.
JJP is a partnership between us, ISD, Bolina ISD, and this other ISD. We have 10 seats there. Wharton ISD have 3 seats. Campo have 3 seats. Lisbon have 2 seats, and Bolina ISD have 1 seat. And all the 5 superintendents are the members of the board of JJP. Just in case where we have students that needs to be expelled to that level of incident. And by that time, they will be passing through Chief Landy, and they must have gone through truancy, they must have gone through every level before getting to JJ.
Superintendent's recommendation.
Yes, please, to the board. I recommend that the board approve the renewal of the MOU for the Wharton County Juvenile Probation Department for 25-26 school year.
So moved. Philip made the motion.
I'll second.
And Mr. Steer seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you so much for your time and the efforts that you make in my student.
Thank you.
Item C is consideration possible action to approve to renew the Head Start program contract for 2025-2026 school year. Superintendent.
Yes, at this time, I would like to call on Mr. Milton, the rabbits, come forward, please.
Good evening. How are you all? Good. So, we have had a partnership with Ward and with 30 Head Start for Head Start for about 24 years now. So I'm here to answer any questions that you all might have. You have a handout there on your desk. And it tells you about the services we provide for the children from ages 3 to 5. And so we all feel that the MOU when you had previously to read through it. So we would like to continue the partnership for 26, 25. So 25, 26. So, y'all have any questions? Feel free to ask at the time.
Yeah, Mr. Milton, I have a question. Prior to 2021, before the partnership, it is just about 4 years old. The Head Start program, how have you all been operating?
Well, before this partnership with Upbring Head Start, we had a partnership with you all with Williams-Smith in Tri-County, where we had a standalone center over here at Silvers, and we operated there. And what I mean by standalone, we had our own teachers and stuff like that. Whereas with partnership, for ISD, you all have to teach. So we have always been, we've always had a partnership with y'all, one way or the other. Okay, so, and it's been an ongoing partnership. It's just this time, instead of having a standalone partnership, we have a partnership where, you all hire your own teachers. We pay, 50% of the teacher salaries. We pay 100% of the, TA salaries. And we also provide, $1,500 per classroom for them to buy supplies throughout the year. So it has been an ongoing partnership, just in different ways.
Yes, prior to 2021, as you said, there has been some partnership in form of your organization pretty much using our facilities.
Correct.
And if you go back through the time, what happens that time is you only pay what NISD, a rental fee or an amount for those space. I remember when you were at Hopper and then at Civils. As at that time, your organization, you own your staff, you do your stuff. All you are getting from what NISD is the space that you are using. What do you consider at this time from 2021? Why did we change from that partnership? Because now the burden of the staff, yes, you are giving us 50%. The burden of the staff, the burden of a staff calling in a day, now rests on us, which prior to those years rest on you in your organization. So if I'm going to form a partnership with you, it is not balanced. Because now I will be the one to wake up at 6 o'clock to know if Miss Jane or Mr. John is not going to come to work. That has been taken care of your organizational responsibility. Because now that is what NISD. Yes, you gave us 1,500 to buy resources for the classes, which you normally do before. Because when you're on standalone, you still have your resources that you buy. So definitely that is not an advantage to our what NISD. Yes, you pay 50% of our staff. We pay 50%. But guess what? When you are standalone, you are paying your 100% staff, right? What you also forget to look into is the administrative costs in terms of operational cost to us, which is taking care of the kids, looking care of 3-year-olds that we are going to be responsible for changing their diapers, which was on you before. See, all those put together, I am not seeing the advantage of this partnership. We are not saying pre-K3 program should not exist. I am not saying the Head Start program should not exist. But looking at what is happening operationally, the standalone program is a far better option for both of us. You still have your space. You will be paying us a monthly amount that both parties can decide. I believe looking down over the years, when you are at minimum Hopper, you used to pay $1,500. We have it on record. But then we are talking about 5 years now. Electricity bills, utility bills have gone up. So we still have to sit down to look at what is happening. And you have your standing. That means if your teacher's calling at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 a.m. in the morning, then it will be you, Mr. Milton, or your organization to find somebody who's going to cover that. It is not going to be on me to look for who is going to cover a 3-year segment. Because what is happening now, most of the teachers, and this happened before, why are they not coming to work? Because some of them told us, we are not ready to be changing diapers for a 3-year-old. Because that, they're just little children. But when you are standing alone, you are doing this on your own. So why can't you continue?
Well, you all have an option. You don't have to take 3-year-olds. Okay? You can take 4-year-olds. You can do 3 classrooms of 4-year-olds, but I still have to take 3-year-olds. We have other partnership that, doesn't take 3-year-olds. So it's really up to, the district and partnership and what we decide and what we agree. If you all decide that, hey, he cannot handle 3-year-olds, well, then you don't do it. Just do 4-year-olds. And, continue the partnership. And that way you won't have to change any diapers or whatever, with the 3-year-old. Because it is hard work. Young kids, 3-year-olds, it's hard work. But you don't have to have 3-year-olds, you can have 4-year-olds. On the 5. And that's something that if y'all, that's what you all choose to do, we can look at it together.
Currently, we have 4-year-olds because we have what they call the PK4. And that is strictly organized D, which it is the 3-year-olds we are talking about, which was definitely under your umbrella, which the partnership put to our side, which is not favorable to us. And at this time, Ms. Hoover, can you please come forward? Mr. Roddy, can you pull that slide for
Well, I
us?
wanted to also say, because I heard what Mr. Milton was saying about our 4-year-old program. So as what he's, and I understand this because we had that in the meeting the other day. So our 4-year-olds, our pre-K4 that we have, if we choose not to have the 3-year-old program, we don't have to. They will help fund our pre-K4 students, where we can require them to be 4 years old, just like we do now, and they will fund 3 classrooms of 4-year-olds up to 51 students. And then the other 3 4-year-old classrooms would be Wharton ISD.
Because as of now, we have 6 classrooms
Correct.
of 4-year-olds.
Correct, that are all Wharton ISD right now. The pre-K3s are the ones that are the upper and Head Start students. Those are the ones that, are just the 3-year-olds. If we choose not to do the 3-year-old program anymore, and we wanna move just to a 4-year-old program, then that's what he was explaining, that they could do an MOU with the 4-year-olds, and they would help us with 3 classrooms, and then we would have the other 3. So that is also an option.
That's an option.
Yes, yes.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get some clarity here. So we're talking 3 and 4-year-olds. And then we're talking about the issue about changing diapers. I'm just thinking. Certain kids are potty trained at their ages. So y'all are using the 3 and 4-year-old for honor. But so what if a 4-year-old soils themselves? Who has to? take care
The
of that?
4-year-olds go down to the nurse's office. They're able to go down with one person down to the nurse's office, and they change their clothes there, or they call it parent. With the pre-K3 students, we have to have 2 people with them at all times. So even to walk them from the classroom to the nurse's office, there has to be 2 nurses in there with the student. There has to be 2 people that walk with the child from the classroom to the nurse's office. And there also has to be 2 people in the classroom with the student. You can't leave them without 2 people. Did that answer your question?
Not really, but I'm.
Okay.
Who makes the requirements? So say if you took 3-year-olds, but the requirement was for that 3-year-old to be potty trained, but they don't get accepted over.
That is a part of the MOU with Head Start.
Yes,
Yes.
and that comes from, licensing and performance standards, that we cannot turn away any children just because they're not potty.
Yeah, and with Wharton ISD, that is a policy that's in our handbook, 4-year-olds must be potty trained to start. Does that answer your question, Mr. Evans?
No, but I want to make a motion to, I don't know the urgency on us, taking an action on this item. I would like to get a better understanding. And so I would like to make a motion to, table this, in an effort to, get a better understanding. I'm more of a visual person. I know school is almost out. I would like to go over and visually kind of understand what's really going on over there. Before trying to make a decision on the information that I have right now, that's been presented to us right now. Matter of fact, the information that we got on the Head Start program, this handout was just handed to us, prior to this meeting.
Do you want me to go over any of
Yes,
this?
Miss,
Okay.
yeah, go over them.
Okay, so this is the financial part of the Upbring, Head Start program with Wharton ISD. So everything that this is an invoice that I have to submit to them every month. So the items that you have here that are marked between the two, black items, that's a cost to the district that we cannot avoid. That's gonna be a cost regardless if we have this program or not. That's janitorial, we still have to pay janitors, that's your administrators, we still have to pay administrators. Your assistants, your nurses, all of that, we still have to pay those people regardless if they're here or not with us. The salaries at the top are the teacher salaries and the assistant teacher salaries. This is our estimated cost each month for those 3 teachers and 3 paraprofessionals. The in-kind part is our part, Wharton ISD's part that we pay. And then the amount here is what Head Start reimburses Wharton ISD. So they reimburse Wharton ISD for 50% of the teacher's salary and 100% of the paraprofessional salary. So if you scroll down just a little bit, Mr. Rubbings. So here you'll see that, too much. That Wharton ISD's part is the 7383 here, and they reimburse us the 9186 here. So our funding, and I have it written down here at the bottom, you can go down just a little bit more, running. Our funding, so we get half a day funding through the state, according to ADA, how many kids we have in the seat at that time. And then the other half of the day is in our system considered other funding, which is Head Start reimbursing us for the teacher's salaries and the paraprofessional salary. So when it comes to funding for this program, Wharton ISD is really not at a huge loss for this program, to have this program here with Wharton ISD. So on the funding side, we're not really, it's kind of a wash, where we pay out 7,000, we get 9. So, I mean, it's not funding, the funding part of it is not really the issue, with the Head Start program and Wharton ISD MOU.
Yes, what?
So you say the funding part is not an issue, but I heard earlier, the conversation that when individuals call
Yeah,
in,
so yes,
and then
on
so
that,
indirectly, if you got to take someone from our district to go over there, then indirectly, to me, that is like,
yes.
associated.
Sorry, I
with-
did leave that part out, Mr. Evans. So, we do have to provide the subs for pre-K through. So if a teacher is out or a paraprofessional is out, we do have to pay the cost for that sub to go into that classroom. So yes, that does become a cost for the district. Head Start only reimburses us for subs if it pertains to an Upbring Head Start PD. So if when they pull the teachers out because it's an Upbring Head Start PD that they need to attend, then they will reimburse us for the subs for that day. But on any other given day that someone's out, like if we have somebody out on FMLA or anything like that, Wharton ISD has to take the cost of those subs. And that could be costly per month, and we do not get reimbursed.
So is there any historical data on what the cost is?
I did not pull that information, no, sir, but I can. If you table this information and want to have more of that sub cost, yes, I can get all of those numbers for you. Just for instance, we have a teacher right now who is out on FMLA for the rest of the year. So Wharton ISD is covering the cost of that sub every day. So you can imagine that's $80 every day that we're covering just for that one teacher. So.
Give us the total cost of what WISD paid for this program for the last, like, 2 years in a row.
For this program, we pay 50% of the teacher's salary. Everything else is covered by Upbring Head Start. But I can pull those numbers.
That would be.
Okay. Yes,
We have a amount of the number of kids we service in pre-K through.
51. That's the max that MOU will allow.
Yeah, 51. Head start.
We're completely full.
Yes.
And are we liable for these children?
Yes,
Just like
yes,
food
yes,
injured?
yes.
Do you have a breakdown of cost per student on average?
I would have to get the ADA cost per student.
And another cost that is silent here, Mr. Please, can you bring that slide down, please? Right, stop, right there. Where we have what they call the administrative costs. All that figure, that is about 50,000, I believe I'm reading right. All that figure, we know we have our administrators, right? But business-wise, when they were separate, when Head Start was separate before the partnership, they have costs of administrators because they were standalone. So where is that cost? That is an advantage to the other party. Because when they were standalone, they have to have their janitors. They have to have their, call it the coach or the head teacher, whatever they're going to call it. We are the one bearing that cost now with the partnership. And that is the balance that is not there.
That's the 50,000, $199 a month.
Yes, sir.
I guess my question is, so the difference between standalone and being under, I guess, we're not the umbrella, does the material that's taught is different? Because I'm sure under the Wharton ISD,
It's more ISD
you have to teach
instructional.
Wharton ISD instruction, but if it's not Wharton ISD, you can teach whatever you want to, correct?
Yeah.
And I'm just asking, because I think I was on the board when it came back in 21, and part of adding them to Wharton ISD umbrella and getting them out of their own, because we could start them on Wharton ISD instruction earlier. And except for them, they get learned, taught whatever under their standalone, but then when they got to say kindergarten, it could be something totally different. Yeah, I think we would start having problems with that and kind of look at the data, and I think they use MAP over there. It was showing that. So I think that's why that decision was made, to get them, the earlier you can get them under Wharton ISD and get taught Wharton ISD material that we're following, you know, as far as PEA, it was better for us, so they wouldn't, not necessarily behind, but it was more aligned.
Has there been really data showing for like Head Start kids starting at 3 years old?
Mr. Milton may have
I
that.
voiced this earlier about my concern that, you know, we have kindergarten through 12th grade, that's 13 years in school. Now you're talking about 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds, if you're looking at 14, 15 years, you're in school. I mean, is there any data or surveys out there showing that anything been started at 3? What the dropout rate is before they get to 12th grade?
I could look that up unless Mr. Milton has.
We don't have any data on that, but we can tell you right now that we have early Head Start program where we have babies coming in at 5 weeks. They go from 5 weeks to 3 years old.
But you're not teaching them like a school
Oh,
setting.
yes, we are. We're not a babysitter. We have a curriculum, we have fall street curriculum, and they are taught, just like any other children in the setting. There are certain things that you can teach babies that get them ready to move on to the next step. So, we use curriculum with them, fall street curriculum with them from 3 to 5, yes, sir.
Well, I was gonna ask Ms. Grissom, she's been at Civils for years, and maybe she can kind of give us an idea of what she's seen in the different programs.
Ms. Grissom.
I put you on the spot.
No, she has a slide.
Okay.
And Mr. Roddy, can you please, and Grissom slide on, Ms. Grissom, please come forward.
Hello.
I'm gonna let Ms. Grissom take over, but if you have
Yes.
any other questions, just leave them.
So, I feel like, the agenda, the original intent of having pre-K 3-year-olds in civils was, very heartfelt because they did want to start routine schooling, any kind of, socialization. They wanted to start them earlier and they wanted to be able to help families start all of that earlier so that they would be more school ready. So those are the pros that I've seen as far as with the pre-K3 program. They definitely have, learned socialization. They begin their play-based learning. They also, provide some of the fundamental, from Broad Street, because that is what our pre-K 4-year-olds also use, that curriculum. And so we thought that that would be a good alignment, to continue. And, obviously, they, bring in a lot of their, own materials as far as, even play centers and furniture, et cetera. And that type of, funding was there for those teachers in pre-K 3 as well. So, those are all positive. Those have all gone as expected, I believe. But what was not expected in, at least just in this particular year, is that we have had a lot of absenteeism. We've had a lot of staff that have been, medically out. And unfortunately for them and unfortunately for us, that does affect the students and that does affect, our staffing and our, ability to try and find substitutes, which is very hard. And then when I can't find a substitute, then I have to pull, paraprofessionals from other grade levels. So then I'm now interrupting those other grade levels as well to make sure that I'm meeting our grant and our MOU, contract and making sure that there are two people in every single room. So that has been hard this year. As far as, the potty training, yes, that has come up several times as far as getting a substitute. They do not want to come substitute 3-year-olds. So you have to have, just like in mid-grade, you have to find the right person to teach, the ones that want to be there. So that has been also difficult. And, that just causes a lot of time out of my day at the beginning of the day to get school started, just so that we can make sure that we're meeting all of our requirements. And, some of those students, this is the first time they've ever been away from mom, dad, grandma. So they have a lot of separation anxiety as well. And so that happens, in pre-K 4 too. But, we do have to provide that, and, that can be overwhelming to the students as well. And so it's a challenge. Thank you.
So, back to your position on, are y'all, before they, pre-K 4, whatever, are y'all teaching
Take it out at 2:30. It's not a half-day option. You can leave at 2:30, but
I have a personal
because-
reason for asking, because I
because they pay the 50% and the 100% of the salaries, we keep them
First grade,
paid
they're gonna teach them the social
instead of
skills.
trying to send them home at 2:30.
We have,
Because their funding is the other half of the day.
where they can go in, we have writing material for them, we do read aloud within, we do the social equity within, but, it's all around. They go to writing, there is language development, there is, all of those aspects that those children are going to need in order to be successful once they get to kindergarten. Okay, whereas if they didn't have this, they're gonna be, maybe behind, it just depends, but no, all of those skills are taught, within the classroom.
The social skills,
Yeah.
so not
Social skills.
actual ABC.
Oh, yeah, they teach, okay, for instance, they teach, for instance, they're going to read aloud. But this is my word wall, okay? I'm gonna show them this book. I'm gonna show them the front of the book, I'm gonna show them the back of the book. I'm gonna tell them about the author, I'm gonna tell them about the illustrators. Okay, I'm gonna have particular vocabulary words. I'm gonna have those where I'm gonna introduce those vocabulary words to those students as we resort. And have those children to ask questions and also, place those vocabulary words on the board. They might even match those vocabulary words with the initials of all the other students in the classroom to get them to start get that concept of knowing that he is Philip. Oh, he. Who else has he in there? Maybe that's what I mean. So it's literacy all the way along.
Yeah, my concern was because both of my kids could read right before they started school. My daughter luckily didn't have a lot of issues, but my son did. First grade teachers, first day of school called me, we have a problem, your son's gonna walk into the class, was reading my daily class. And he had, until about third or fourth grade, we had lots of problems with him, because he knew everything. They were like, sometimes it's not good, too early, you need to let the.
Well, you have to challenge them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are challenge them. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna add, the 3-year-olds, is that a half a day, when it used to be a half a day, or it's a full day?
I was just wondering, going on with the transportation, if there's some special cost to us. Is there less that we really like, is that our responsibility, is that our insurance, what is that breakdown? That would be a hard one.
So I have a question and a comment. So as I look at this handout, I guess this handout was something you created, Ms. Grissom, or nobody in our district.
Yeah.
So I see 6 pros and 4 cons. As far as bullet points, but have y'all got together and maybe had a conversation to see if we could eliminate some of these cons? Or is this program, is it just set in stone? Because just looking at it, it looks like if we could possibly eliminate some of the cons on here, then it might benefit everyone. Is this something that's in stone that can't be changed? Because like when you're looking on here, so if I'm looking on here and I'm looking at these cons, and has there ever been a conversation about maybe finding some common ground so we can eliminate some of these?
Yes, Head Start Upbringing, it does meet with me on a regular basis, and they've given me some support and some ideas. I did just find out about the possibility of not being 3-year-olds and being 4-year-olds instead, because that tends to be the highest challenge is with the 3-year-olds. And so they have brought ideas like that to my attention when I bring up a challenge.
And we also have an education coach that helps out in the classroom. We have even a family advocate that takes all the application. They even help out in the classroom when there's a behavior issue or whatever. They would go in and work with the teachers on different goals and stuff like that. So it's a moving partnership where we meet, together and we formulate goals and we talk about how we could improve the program, what we could do better, and so forth and so on, like you're talking about. So those meetings take place regularly.
The one thing that I haven't heard is, you say you have 51 some odd students in this program, but I'm thinking about those parents and what is their alternative if we don't have that program? And how it affect them, because I know, there have been some other things that have been presented to the board. And, we're always concerned with, what the alternative is. If we don't, what
This
happens?
program is geared for low income families. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, so that's when we want. It's geared for low income families. We do not enroll anyone, there will be a last resort that's over income or something like that. So it's geared basically for low income. And for I think we have about transportation, I think maybe some of them may ride the bus because they may have a sibling. I think that, bring them also, they're not mistaken, they can have questions. So, they both. Yes, sir.
I kind of just got a comment, it's kind of a personal comment. I got 3 kids in the district. Been in the district the whole life, even myself, so I include myself in everything, because I've been through Head Start through Ward 9 as well. And all 3 of my kids started, pre-K 3 as well. And, fortunately, my kids had a mother and father. But if we look at our statistics, we're so much economically disadvantaged. Meaning there's a lot of single parents out here. And I think it's a big disservice to our parents, which are our stakeholders or taxpayers, of not having this program. You hear people say, one of my kids, we were able to afford to daycare, but a lot of parents can't afford daycare. They can't afford to miss work. And even when they do miss work, they probably have somebody else picking up their kid because they're at work. We have to think about those people. We're not talking about people that are set up for all success. They might not have internet at home. They might not have books at home for their children to learn in those prior years. And then when their kids get to school, you got to teach a kid what an A is when a kid should know the whole alphabet already. It's tough. It makes it hard on Miss Grissom to get them caught back up. Then when they get to West and they're far behind, it puts us in a bigger bind. We have to think about that aspect as well. We have pros and cons to anything you do, and we can talk about cost and things like that. But, as a school board member, when it comes to education, which, should be our priority. Me personally, I don't feel comfortable disservicing 51 kids, telling them we're gonna get rid of this program, because out of 51, you might have 10, 15 that boiling yourself every day, you got this and that, but you got some there that are there to learn and they're picking up knowledge, and I think that's a pro and con in itself. And we have to think about that, does it make things, provide a sub? I understand all that, and that's something that we have to do and continue to do. I'm sure we just didn't start doing it this year. This year might have been tougher. You might have had a group of teachers that all got pregnant together. Teachers do that. They're that close. But then you might have a year where you got more people here. You don't have that problem. I don't like to look at it on a year-to-year basis, look at the overall picture, but me personally, being an economically disadvantaged community and knowing that our parents are single parents, they're struggling to make ends meet, they're trying to do everything and make sure their child is set up for success. I would hate to take that one thing that they're thinking that's gonna help them and help their child be successful, and maybe not get stuck in the same rut that they did, and we just take that away from them.
And just to piggyback on what he said, this might be the only meal that some of these children may receive. They get breakfast, lunch, and snack. This may be the only meal that they receive in their entire life. Because of, the low income and just because of what this young man is talking about. And so, that's something else that we have to think about. We have to think about the education of these children, educating these children. No child is too young to learn. Let's see. That's what I'll tell you about our 30% program. And it's full day program. They come in at 7:45, maybe at 3 o'clock. Okay, every day. Okay, we have babies, and then we have 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and we go on transition, But that's something else that we have to think about. Like, we have to think about these things. We have to think about how many grandma and grandparents out there that are raising these children. These times have changed. You know, it's not like when we were trying. You know, it's totally different now. You know, a lot of grandma raising children, you know, yeah. They don't have a choice. Either that or the child will be out in the street. So,
You are perfectly right, and Mr. Philip, you are perfectly right. But we have to make this very clear here so that we are on the same page. We are not saying get rid of the program. Nobody is saying that. We are saying your organization, just like what Trustee Evans said, be prepared to come down to the negotiating table. If you can pay 50-50 of the teacher's salary, you cannot leave us to be responsible for paying 100% of every day this teacher is out, because that is a cost which we are going to present to you. When you all come to the table, this is a business discussion we are going to have. If you can pay 50% of my teachers, when that teacher is out and I get a sub for that teacher, are you prepared to pay 50% of the cost? That is economics, because you are not pushing all that cost toward NISD. That is what we are talking about. We have to renegotiate this MOU as presented.
Right, and I agree, I think that's a negotiation, but I thought, you know, we're talking about renewing, and that's part of the renew, but if we're gonna negotiate like that, I think, like Mr. Evans said, we should, you know, place this action, for a later board meeting, so we can actually really come in and get some more breakdowns. So I think, more board members ask for different material to look at, instead of, we get a little bit of material now to make that decision, you know, maybe we need to sit down with their people and you know, negotiate like at a special meeting, instead of, we're hearing all this now, but we still, you know, put it for a further date. We're gonna wanna hear most of it again to refresh our memory, and we wanna look at some material and do some research ourselves.
Which is, you know, all of us have to do that. When our school district is in the financial situation that it is, we're gonna have to look at everything. We're gonna have to prioritize. And if there's a way that the program can exist without any fund drainage from WISD, that's better.
Yeah, no, and I agree, but I said, that's what I'm saying, that's why when we come back, you know, it could be more of a negotiation. I think we all, I'm gonna speak for everybody, I think I agree that, you know, we want to continue this program, but under a different parameter. And that's what I'm saying, when we come back, that's when we talk, I don't think the question is if we want the program or not, I think we want it. But we can discuss the parameters of the program and how it's gonna be funded.
Yes, in the meantime, just like what I'm hearing, we are going to contact the leadership of the organization. We'll come to the table. We're going to discuss, this is what we are seeing from the current MOU, that financially, we are going to give them the data of how much we have spent in terms of substitutes, in terms of, just like what Ms. and Cooper just said, we have a teacher that has been asked for a long time. We are the one behind that call a lot, because to them, with this current MOU as written, it is our responsibility. It should not, because they are part of the program. So all that we are going to come to discuss, and any trustees who want to visit civils, depending on the time you have, let me know. You will go and see it, you will see how that Pre-K3 program operates. And by the time we meet with their leadership, we have some discussions, and then we can agree to have a new MOU.
Superintendent, if you wouldn't mind, give your board recommendation as to what you would like to do, be able to bring this back to the board for consideration.
I would like to go back to my original motion, and my original motion was to table this for a later date.
Oh, is that all right?
Yeah.
That's okay, President Ramos.
Okay, so
Yes.
the motion's been made.
So there's no action on this current
Right.
MOU as presented.
Okay, so the motion's been made and seconded to table.
I just have one more question. So as it stands, we don't have now.
We're not saying.
So why don't we make the motion to not approve that contract and then have them come back?
The fact is, it still has not been approved.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Right,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
but every year, we come back together with the MOU to get it approved for the following year.
Okay.
So it has not been approved for the following year as of yet. So it's my understanding that the superintendent would like to bring, all of us together to see what we could do about when there's a teacher out and you all have a source of call. What can Upgrade do to assist y'all with that call? I think that's his main concern. Is that correct?
That's very correct.
Okay, so what I will do, I will go back with our superintendent and CEO, and I will let them know that. Okay, and then they can take it from there. And then maybe we could have a special meeting where we could all come together and figure that out in addition to, like we said, the 50% salary that we're paying for the aides, the 100% salary that we're paying for the aides and 50% salary that we're paying for the teachers. So, this additional fund. So, okay.
I just have one more, just so you are aware. We will have to do this prior to June 30th. Because we have to make a plan for that level of children, students, and staff. So if for some reason Wharton ISD does come to the conclusion that they want Head Start to take the program on 100% by themselves, we would need to know so we can notify those teachers that Head Start is going to take on the program now, and they would have to reapply through them, or vice versa, or whatever, or move them around in the district.
Oh, it will be done before that
Yes.
time. Once he gets in touch with his leadership, they will contact us, we'll fix a date, and we'll meet, we'll review the MOU. Any of our trustees that want to visit the campus, they will see what is going on there, and then we'll present a new MOU in the next few meetings we are gonna have, definitely before June 30th.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Y'all have a good evening.
Back to discussion items, Dave is going to be, discussion on the June board meeting at Dayton time.
Yes, we noticed that the June board meeting falls on the June 10th day, June 19th, which is a holiday. So, looking at our calendar, we are suggesting that the June board meeting now should hold on June 12th. We have to move it forward to June 12th. June 19th is a holiday.
Looking at 10-12, I don't know if some remember what it is, I said, that's the same.
Yeah.
I'm just making a comment, so I understand that June being a holiday, if it's on Thursday, historically, the celebration of Juneteenth is actually done on weekend. It's usually, if that day happens during the week, there's not a lot of, I'm gonna say, things that are going on actually during the week. Historically, that holidays, whoever celebrates, or usually when they celebrate that's usually on weekend. I think it's a holiday for the district.
It's a, I believe, a national holiday.
It is.
It's a flag, so nobody be here. All that.
It's a national holiday now.
But I don't know about, I'm not opposed, it's the summer, even if we had it on the Tuesday, so.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's up to the board, we can do it.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Thursday and Tuesday will be June 17th. Tuesday's June 17th. June 17th will be June board meeting. Then we have discussion by 10. board travels. We are. Yes, but that's what it is. We made an estimate travel figure for the board members in terms of the summer leadership conference coming out in San Antonio. And with the current reality of the district, it is up to the board members to decide what we want to do. I'll be sending one person, I'll be sending two people, or 7 of you want to go. If 7 of you decide to go, you are costing the district over $13,000. Are we gonna send only 2 people that can come back and bring the information back to the other 7 members?
Well, I went to SLI last year and all that SLI was people like me walking in there talking to a big group of people about past experience and the board. It was a learning experience. And they overbooked this so much just to make money. I didn't even get into my class because all the classes were full. People were outside the doors, sitting all over the floor in the hallway, and they were there just waiting for their code so they could get their free class out. They didn't learn anything. To me, people going to that just to get a vacation.
Experience on that, I was a new board member, I got valuable information from SLI, I don't think it's a joke. I think you take it serious when you go into those classes, and you pick the classes that you need for our district, and just not randomly pick classes, it's very valuable, it's valuable to each person wants to learn something different, that's how you learn about school budget, that's how you learn how to handle certain situations. That's how you learn how to do preventive things for the future when your board is going through things, or you got things coming up, you can plan for it. I don't think, you might have people sitting inside classes, some of these people have been board members for 20+ years, so it's a formality for them, but I just know as a new board member and a learning board member for a district that's struggling in certain things, you gotta pick those things out of our district that we're struggling in, and those are the classes you go to.
You must be talking about a different meeting, because these weren't classes that SLI went to, it's people just going up there, would you like to make a speech? But no, they had the budget meeting the night before.
Your first year, I think you might be taking some of your mandatory classes, and that could be the reason why, but once you get out of your first year, you can pick and choose what classes you go to.
SLI gave me a sheet of all of them, you get to pick and choose whatever the one that I chose went to. And nobody could get in their classes that day. Every one of them had people sitting up and all around.
I'll never get nobody can get in, even, when I was a board officer, board officers go to a whole different hotel than that training. They don't even go to the same training.
That was a delegate convention, not that you sounded like you're talking about, because that's a lot, it's nothing like you're talking about.
One thing though that we need to get across.
Is that what you thought?
Yes, I know that Lisa, Marie, and I did virtually every bit of the required training to point. The only thing we have left that 3-hour fee bill.
Yeah, everything was online.
And the cost for sending a board member to a requirement education can be done through the help of Victoria Region 3 instead of our spending, $2,500 for one person to go. Then we're gonna have to look at it. I mean,
I'm not saying we don't have to
If
look
you look
at
at
it.
the SLI schedule, 0 of those classes are mandatory, because it's not.
It's continuous education, that's what's important.
So I think we have board policy on board travels, so that's a certain amount of money. If we need to decrease that, we need to look at it. But it goes back to the question that the superintendent asked. How many people are you planning on going this year? I know of one person that's probably won't get up, or possibly 2. So with that said, that number that you're talking about is astronomical, is gonna be greatly reduced.
We also like, what, trustee just said, how many exits? To board approve for the trustees to go.
we have it in the budget for this year. But the other thing that we need to address is next year, because I mean, the thing is, we could shift that money for the ordinance, or we can spend it all.
What you're talking about? There's a board policy that says this amount is set out for the board. What's that? It's a number. I don't know what it is, and it's a high set.
That's the reason it's called policy.
Right, and you have to change policy to get rid of it. You know, it's not even a vote of who wants to go, but we can do that. I'm fine with it. There's a policy that says the board has allocated this amount of money, $20,000, divided by 7 for training. That's the number we're talking about, because I know I think you said $12,000 for one. I'm just saying, there's two different, there's CASA conference that we all 8 of us should go to. You know, as administrators and school members, that's what you do team 84 team building there.
No, that is not the San Antonio.
No, it's in Houston, it's,
Yeah.
but it's still board travel, still,
Yes,
it's still
exactly.
board travel,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And so that's why I just want to know what that main number was, that the board is allowed it for continuous education.
I will get back to you on that figure, but then the question is, if only 2 of them are signified to go to San Antonio, which is between June 11 to June 14. Cut off in date registration and all that fees.
But I really, you know, when we talk about board travels, and you have SLI, one's in San Antonio, one's at Fort Finley and Fort Worth. They usually get 2 different dates. So we have some board members that have expressed that they're interested in getting this training, that they get something out of it. We've had other board members that have indicated that they don't get anything out of it, they don't care to go. So what I'm saying, that number has come down. Just on those terms itself. So to me, we've already reduced that cost. That cost is not gonna be as high. The individuals that feel like they don't get anything out of it, you know, fine. But I wouldn't want to try to, the individuals that have expressed they get something out of it. We have a new board member here that she doesn't really know. So what I'm saying is that cost has gone down already.
Oh, definitely, that's what I said, how many board members are interested in going to?
You know, just because somebody doesn't want to go, that doesn't mean, everybody should go. You're entitled to your opinion.
Miss Carla? Yes. Sorry, Miss Walker, and Mrs. Walker, and Mr. Anderson, both of you are interested in going to San Antonio. Mr. Corris, you're not just.
And under Lone Star governments,
Right.
no.
I'm
We
not-
approved what was in it tonight. This is in regard to taking the training wheels off the bike and letting the board continue using Lone Star governments, but with their guidance before we start doing it. I believe that's the way I understood it.
Yes, you have services through July, coaching services, your grant paid for services through July. So I would follow you through July and transition you if that's what you wish, or if you wish to take part in it again, you can take part in it again as a contractor.
Out of curiosity, Lisa, is the grant still available?
That I can find out for you. I know Warden, I believe this was your second year to receive the grant, is that right?
Yes.
So, before district could receive it 1 year, last year they changed that you could receive it for the second year. It was at a reduced amount, but it still covered just about your whole contract of service. I have not heard that they'll re-up it for the 3rd year, for districts. So as of right now, I don't have that information.
Well, that is an expense. Theoretically, we would be able to eliminate.
Yes, you could eliminate that expense, that's correct.
So, and that's the reason that it's on the agenda of things put on that particular thing. So if you'd be kind enough maybe at that June meeting, you can bring back that information.
If you can get the grant again, or what information?
Or I say, you can let Mr. Wally know that probably.
Yes, yes, I will double check that. As of right now, I don't know. But if that changes, I'll let you know.
So with the grant, how much is the district? With the grant?
Last year, we received $7,000 from the grant.
And I think their LSG coaching service.
Our LSD coaching service was $7,000.
Yeah.
This year, we will only receive $5,000 and the coaching is $7,000.
So this year it cost you $2,000.
Yes.
You covered $5,000. Thank you. I can remember the amount.
This time, apart from the dates we are talking about, and then the trustees, and Ms. Snow will get with you tomorrow, so I register you quickly for San Antonio.
Okay. There being no further business on the third board, the motion is made by Maria, is there a second? Phil, all in favor, indicate by saying aye. All opposed. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
They didn't.
Oh, good, because I didn't do it.